You guys can definitely hear those pops. They're getting loud. And I literally smell the E85 too. Sheesh. Oh my goodness. Kind of want to get a POV drive in before it starts to downpour again, because it's been raining all week. I haven't really even been driving the car at all week. I did some minor interior upgrade, and I'm just kind of waiting for the weather to get nicer and not be so on and off with the rain. Nicer, so I can actually go ahead and do my final data logs so I can boot up the 15 psi map. Now you guys are not going to believe this. Well, actually it's very believable. All last week I thought I was on map 1 running the car. Now I found out literally 2 days ago when I was talking to my tuner about map switching, because I was trying to figure out a different way to switch maps, because I don't like doing the pedal dance that I have to do because I don't have a cruise control stick. I found out that I was actually running the car on map 2 that entire time, and it was running rather well, a little honestly too well, because I fixed that boost leak, and the car was technically over boosting a little bit. Looking through some of the footage, when I ran that boosted Cobalt, the car was hitting about 12 psi around 7,000 RPMs. So we're gonna adjust that. I mean, this car it's over 350 wheel. It's over the number that it was dynoed at, 110%, because it was only hitting 10 psi, and now it's hitting 12. So I don't know exactly the numbers the car is putting down. It's probably, I'd say, maybe close to 360, maybe a little bit over 360, or way more than that. I have no idea. But after we go ahead and get, you know, the tune dialed in for the 15 psi map, that's going to replace this 10 psi map, and I'm going to have the low boost setting set to 9, which should be around, I'd say, 335, 340, something around there. The only bad thing about me getting this kind of revision via eTune is I'm not going to be able to figure out exactly how much power I'm putting down immediately. I'm gonna have to put the car in a dyno, and I think I'm gonna have to do that next month. I'm not too sure the schedules for the dyno, because technically this is not gonna be with the same shop that I go to when I get the car tuned. I'm gonna have to bring this, you know, differently on my own time. So I gotta call up and figure out exactly, you know, when's the next available dyno date, because that dyno is shared by X amount of people, X amount of shop. It could be some time, but I definitely want to get an accurate number on what the car is putting down. So technically I'm going to lowball myself right now, just so I'm not, you know, spewing out false information. But at 10 psi the car made 350, so it should make around, I'd say, 395 to 4. Now when the upgraded intercooler does get put on the car, and I will get in a revision for that as well, because that 700 horsepower spec intercooler is a Garrett core, and it's going to push out more airflow, increasing the boost, or not really the boost, increasing the amount of power the engine makes. It's probably going to be over 4. It definitely will be over 4 when that gets strapped on. But again, I want to go ahead and put the car on the dyno. Hopefully I get that. Like, I'm really starting to become impatient. Hopefully I get that intercooler before I put the car on the dyno, because I'm giving myself and JDL probably like a month, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and put it on the dyno and see what it makes on the 15 psi map, because right now I have no idea how much power the car makes. All I can tell you guys is it is definitely definitely, without a doubt in my mind, putting down more than 350. I literally just ran a 335i, just cruising. Didn't have my GoPro on. Wasn't even planning to record. I said, fuck it, I'm recording now. You know, gave him at least a car. Like, I don't really be paying attention when I be racing people because, like, you know, 40 rolls, second gear, you gotta look at the tack because as soon as you put your foot down, it's at red line. So I definitely need to find, you know, somebody to ride shotgun with me when I do these runs to figure out exactly, you know, how much the car, you know, beats people by, especially if it's like considerable amount. So I definitely want to figure that out. But I mean, this car, fellas, I'm telling you guys this right now, gut the back seats, take the back seats out this baby, gut that trunk, because you're gonna lose probably 80 to 100 pounds. And depending on what turbo kits you have, usually these turbo kits add 100 extra pounds or more on the car. You're pretty much taking that weight right back off, and it's like having a factory FRS that's putting down like 350, 360 wheel, which is moving. The car is, you know, right around like 26, 25, maybe 100 pounds, especially if you have some lighter wheels. It's is gonna be crazy. It's definitely worth it in my opinion. It moves out. If you guys are just, you know, trying to scale the car and kind of measure it up to, you know, other cars in the market, it's right there, if not further than a lot of stuff, especially when you start, you know, modifying V8s or other 4-cylinders or 6-cylinders for that matter. It measures up. Definitely gonna tell you guys that right now. Now, as far as runs I'm trying to get, depending on what happens and depending on how quickly the weather gets nicer, it's supposed to be nice this weekend. Hopefully, if I get that retune tomorrow, I'll be able to flash on the 15 PSI map. But if not, I'm gonna run the 10 PSI map, and I'm gonna try to get, you know, some runs in on the 10 PSI map. I'm definitely trying to run a couple Scat Packs, a couple Camaros, and a couple Mustangs, 5.0s obviously, and, you know, full bolt-on E85 around that area and see where the car is at. I think I'm definitely going to be able to, now knock on Alcantara, you know, that good stuff. I think I'm definitely going to be able to hang with a lot of the full bolt-on Mustangs, especially now that I fixed the exhaust leak and I'm on, you know, a lot more boost. It's literally like technically 5 extra boost than what I was at without the boost leak. So 60 rolls, it should be good. 40 rolls, it might be kind of sketchy on 40 rolls. But 60 rolls, I think I have the best. Chance, because the car is a hell of a lot lighter and it's already going to be moving. The 40 rolls I have to shift immediately. The 60 rolls I have all of third, all of fourth, all of fifth. So we'll see. They're obviously going to pull away from me past 130, but if I can stay with them or ahead of them up to 130, that's a very good spot to be at. Extremely good spot to be at, especially for this tiny Greddy turbo. Light cruise. But let me know what you guys think about you know, the topic of boost creep, because technically I am boost creeping by about 2 PSI. Tell, I went ahead and redid my interior as well. Alcantara shift boot. I have kind of like the black JDM, you know, spec OEM shift knob. And I went ahead and added a Racing reverse lockout. Really happy with everything. The interior is kind of like exactly where I want it to be right now. I was planning on actually putting on an Alcantara e-brake, but I actually did, and I just didn't like it. It just didn't look that well. And honestly, I think everything flows better with this being leather. Oh, and I also went ahead and got the black kind of shifter trim as well as the buttons. I think this really did, you know, kind of make the interior just look a little bit better. I mean, I'm kind of a very clean OEM cut type guy. I don't like to have too much crazy stuff going on, you know, inside and especially outside the car. So that's kind of why I have this I guess blacked out interior look, but I do like it. I really do like it. I'm also getting a little bit more exterior mods. I'll probably showcase that in a later video because the car is filthy. It's been raining. Honestly, the car has been just sitting for a couple days. I just now starting to drive it again after like almost a week. But the weather's just been real bad. It's getting hotter, which is, you know, nice. I do like the hot weather, but it just needs to dry up a little bit so it can be more, you know, safe to rip the car. That's not really why I'm ripping the car that much. I mean, I did that pull, but that was like a dry patch. But it's raining here and there. There's some wet spots. The R888s, especially since these R888s are kind of getting used up a little bit. Just want to be a little safe and not really just beat on the car unnecessarily. Especially, you know, when everything's not optimal for me. Now, some of you guys might be asking, am I going to track this car? I do want to track the car, but I do need to upgrade my brakes first to at least go ahead and just, you know, have a Stop Tech, you know, brake upgrade on here, as well as I need to get my old cooler, my intercooler plugged up. That's about it, and then I can track it. But until I get that stuff in, this car will not see a track. All right, I want to give you guys a closer look at the whole interior. We got the AEM gauges. We got boost up at top, oil pressure on the bottom, and then for my P3 gauge, when I do get a new one next week, we're going to be showing the AFR as well as the oil temp. You got the Sparco steering wheel, and you guys can see here I have just literally the black OEM JDM style shift knob. It's literally the same exact shift knob from factory, but it's literally black, just the OEM style, you know, JDM style black. I also have a black Alcantara shift boot with the red stitching. I like this over the leather because it just looks a lot cleaner, and honestly I think it complements the interior a lot more. As you guys can also see here closer, I have like the black shifter trim as well as the black OEM buttons for the traction control. Again, this is like the JDM style black shifter trim as well as the JDM style, you know, black buttons, and that's pretty much it. And then you guys can see here, before I forget, I have the black Racing reverse lockout, which feels a hell of a lot better than stock. And that's pretty much all I've done to the interior. Honestly, this is all I'm probably going to do with the interior. I did have the Alcantara shift, the e-brake boot here with the red stitching, but honestly I just didn't like it, man. I like the leather. I think everything kind of flows better with the leather. You guys can see here, and I did actually buy a red kind of like drift button, but I'm not gonna put that on. I'm just gonna keep it OEM plus. Let me know what you guys think, what I should change, if I should change anything else. Maybe put an Alcantara, I don't know. And I could cover this whole top with Alcantara, I don't know. I could cover this with Alcantara, I don't know. I think I'm just gonna leave it just like this, honestly. Maybe put a different head unit if I really get bored and I want to just, you know, change up the interior. But realistically, I think I'm practically done with the interior of the car. That's really about it. The only thing I could potentially see myself doing is actually hitting up Ortiz Customs and getting, you know, literally the OEM mold and mounting the gauges in there and adding a third one and putting my AFR up there, and then using this gauge for the oil temp or whatever else I want to use. I mean, the IATs or something like that. I might go ahead and do that once I, you know, put a built motor in on the car and all that stuff. But otherwise, I think that's it. I think this is all I'm gonna do to the interior. I want to make this video to kind of let you guys know exactly, you know, what I've done, and also, you know, the situation that, you know, was going down with the boost creep, and get a little POV drive before it starts to downpour again, because you guys can see here outside it is gloomy as hell. It's about to rain. So hope you guys did enjoy. It's been your boy Redline POV, and I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video. Deuces.